If that was on a Lacoste polo shirt, we'd be drooling, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but feel how hard that is. Right then.
Bonjour et bienvenue à notre channel. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, not
Probably
really.
wrong, but we'll go with it. Hello, welcome to our channel today. As you can probably tell, we've got a France special. For Craig and myself, I know I've never designed a France kit. I don't think you have either.
No.
But man, we love these kits. I can't think of a France shirt since Nike started working with them that I haven't thought was just incredible. Right from the very first one. Home, away, they've just always been amazing. It's like, to me, these are the standard of international kits.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
This should be the level. So today we're going to talk through them. We've got women's national team jerseys here and the men's version of the women's jerseys, and we've also got the men's jerseys as worn at the World Cup, authentic and replica versions, and we've also managed to get a little bit of sneaky insider information. So I'll let you start, Craig, and talk about some of the things you've got in front of you that you're very excited about.
Yeah, well, I think I've taken inspiration from French kits for years. You know, if we go back to pinstripe one that we've talked about, there's always been something that France have done that have always inspired some of my kit designs. But I think the home kit, what I really love about it is there's tiny little details. They've got an oak leaf and an olive branch that goes through the jacquard in the neckline. And the idea behind that was so that when France play in the World Cup, they're taking a little bit of home with them, which I think was a really nice
solidarity.
touch. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is Total Eclipse, the actual colour. So it's a really dark navy blue.
Which that in itself, if you think of France kits of the past, certainly the Addy era, they were very much blue.
Like a royal blue, weren't they?
And yet this just feels so right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as they did it, it was like...
But it looks so sophisticated, and that is something you would absolutely rock with a pair of jeans, and it looks really elegant, really sophisticated. We've talked about the badge execution. I mean, that is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And the application of that is so soft.
Well, let's have a feel.
I mean, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It's great because it's got really subtle texture to it.
Yeah.
It's not very pronounced, so it's still highly functional, but it just feels really thought out.
Yeah, and all of the Nike kits that we're seeing at the World Cup are made by recycled plastic bottles, no matter which federation you're talking about. Now, as much as I've waxed lyrical about this, there is one tiny little detail.
Button alert.
If you think of the Liverpool kit that we reviewed...
There'll be a link to that somewhere in this video.
So if I'm looking at that button on its own, I think the level of detail they've brought into it is lovely.
Yeah.
There's a little stripe and detail through it.
If that was on a Lacoste polo shirt, we'd be drooling, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but feel how hard that is. That would be my only...
that, isn't it?
It's just they had the perfect button the last time, and I don't understand why they've done that. So if I was going to criticise it, it would be that. But as a kit, I just think it's brilliant. I mean, marks out of 11 for that. I would probably give that a 10.
Yeah, or a 10.5, because it's the wrong choice of button, but it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, just everything about it. Actually, if I was going to be super picky, I love that this is flat knit on the collar. So flat knit means that it is just knitted as one piece, so it's got its own natural edge to it. Whereas the cuffs appear to be more circular knit. It's cut out of a tube of knit, and it's had to be folded, which is a shame. And they can obviously do it because it's on the collar.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to take that extra half a mark off and knock them down to a lowly 10 out of 11.
Yeah.
Because that's just absolutely first class.
Good. Now, let's get into this one. So again, another player issue. They've done a traditional toile. I believe this was originally founded in Lyon.
Okay.
And it's very much reminiscent of French culture. This, for me, is the best kit I have seen in a long, long time. What I love about it is, again, it's got all the details we had in the home shirt. So it's, again, recycled bottles. It's got all the perforations and the weave technology that they've got into the shirt. But what I love about it is the actual toile detail. There's different parts of France. So whether it's Paris or the wine regions or Lyon or wherever, there's all these different elements that have been captured in the toile, which I think is so clever. But if you look really closely, they've actually got like modern culture in there as well, where they've got the flag bearers and the hoodies and all that sort of stuff. I just think...
And a man and a woman playing football.
Yeah. And I just think it is such a beautiful football kit.
Yeah.
The badge, again, is being executed so beautifully.
Like if you ask Banksy to decorate a 300-year-old
Yeah,
vase,
yeah.
this is what he'd put on
No,
it.
absolutely. The little flag detail at the hemline as well, I think is really nice. So I have never ever done this in the time that we've been marking shirts, but marks out of 11, I'm giving that 11.
I can't argue with that. I mean, there's bits that you might say, oh, they could have bonded the cuff or whatever, but
But visually, that is just
doesn't-
such a beautiful kit.
even a response from the taxi repair shop downstairs, like a round of applause. Everybody's overjoyed. Got a few people in the studio today. Anybody disagree with
11 out of 11.
11 out
this
of 11.
is-
I think it's the first time we've ever done it.
It
but
is
yeah,
football
I think
shirt
that's
perfection.
cracking. But then the replica, my only criticism with some of the Nike stuff is you go from the elite athlete version then down into the replica.
Big step down, isn't it?
It is a massive step down. But again, it's a great looking kit.
Yeah, I mean, even knowing that a lot of fans and collectors prefer a woven badge or an embroidered applique, as this appears to be, they've executed that in such detail. It's just that level of thought. And on the one hand, it makes me really excited. And on the other hand, it makes me feel a little bit sad that there isn't this level of thought in every single national team uniform. And ideally every single club as well. And I know there's time constraints and everything else, but there's not one thing that needs to be on the product that hasn't been really thought out.
No, absolutely. So yeah,
What, you're giving the replica?
I think visually it looks really, really strong. But for me, it's the fabric. It's so straight up and down. I'd probably give that 7 out of 11.
I was thinking 7.
Because I think it's still a really striking shirt. But I'd be interested to see, I think we've got some of the replica versions.
Do I dare pull that seam? Do you think Jerry at Subside Sports, who've provided us with the shirts, would be really upset if I...
Possibly, yeah.
Right, here we go. It's the boom mic test.
No, that's
Passed.
all right. That's all right.
Fantastic.
But I
Well
mean,
done,
if
Nigel.
you look at the replica of the home kit,
It's a lot
we've
closer to the actual...
well, yeah, and we've got a nice neckline detail.
Yeah.
The fabric itself, I don't believe is the same.
No,
and
it's
it's
not.
definitely not. So the home shirt, I actually think is better than the away from a fabrication perspective.
Certainly from a value for money perspective.
Yeah, and they've captured a lot of the details as well. So for me, I would probably mark that about an 8.
I'd maybe even go as far as a 9 on that.
Yeah, possibly. What I am excited about, though, is again, Subside have managed to give you a long sleeve version, which you don't see that often.
That
But what's really nice is just that tiny little
little tab.
tab on the end, which I thought was really quite clever.
Yeah.
So again, if that was a replica shirt, I'd be all over that. So yeah, by and large, I think some of the French kits are really, really strong.
Yeah, well, I
Even
think
the women's
Yeah,
products.
we take it, even the women's products, and I think even the women's product is not a flippant comment from Craig or myself. There, it's the women's product often gets overlooked, and it would be, oh well, it's the guys' stuff in women's shape and sizes, and we've done a few tweaks to it or whatever else. Whereas this was specifically designed for the French women's team at the Euros. But also they did men's versions of it, which I think that one might be.
Yeah.
So it's a
It is.
yeah. So it's a men's fit of the women's shirt, which is just awesome and really speaks to the level of inclusivity that Nike are injecting right across their whole brand, not just within
Yeah.
football or performance sports. This shirt's much more in keeping with the 21-22 season, which would make sense. It's got what appears to be a fleur-de-lis type detail debossed into the tape on the side, which we saw on some of their other elite teams.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just in keeping with what we saw from
Still
the
not
kits
a big
from last
fan
season.
of that neckline, though.
No, I mean, exactly, the kind of pointless
yeah.
notch.
Didn't like that at all. But I do love this one. This is
was
from
on
the
Liverpool,
Liverpool
wasn't it?
neckline, which I still think is really nice.
Yeah.
And there's a really nice power mesh on that as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Which we didn't have on the Liverpool jersey.
No,
which
I
is
guess that's
smart.
specific to women's. If any of you at home have seen a men's Nike shirt that's got kind of the power mesh detail around the front of the collar, by power mesh we mean it's a kind of mesh with holes that you can see through, but it's super stretchy, a lot of elastic in it. We tended to see just normal body fabric on those, so if you know of a men's shirt, then mention that in the comments because we'd love to see it. Whilst you're in the comment section, do hit like, subscribe. So yeah, I think with this one, again, it's nice. It suits the template of the season from a Nike perspective. But as with the away replica, it feels like Nike have bought 1 billion miles of fabric that's ready for print, and therefore they're having to use it on everything that they're printing from a football shirt perspective. And there are lots of good fabrics that you can print on. That shouldn't hold you back from picking a nice material.
That's nice where it's got the blues all the way down the side.
Yeah.
It's a nice little detail.
Allez les bleus.
So yeah, let's
Yeah, I mean, that's
wrap this one up then.
Yeah, that one's good. It is good, but again, I'm going to struggle to give that perhaps more than a 6.
Yeah.
I feel, just because it's basically a fabric. There's not loads of other stuff on it, and the fabric's not good.
Yeah, no, I'd probably go with that, to be fair. But visually, from a distance, that's a cracking looking
Yeah,
kit.
it is totally.
Overall, the French offering from Nike this season has been
Yet again.
off the scale. Love it.
Even just down to the subtle colour of the crest there on the women's version, compared to how it's been executed with the gold on the men's. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, if you've loved it as well, we would love to hear your comments. If you can think of any other shirts that would be more deserving of an 11 out of 11, our first time ever, then we'd love to hear about that in the comments. And also maybe take a look at our Patreon as well, where you'll be able to get some insights, a few things that we wouldn't really put into the public domain. There's also live events and kit design competitions and special guests. So loads going on with the Patreon. If you can join us there, we'd love to. But until then, we will see you next time on the channel. Thanks a lot.
We're looking at some France kids.
Damn straight,
Hot diggity dog.
as they say on the streets of Marseille.